Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. First, I'd like to thank Chairman Taylor for extending a welcoming hand to me in his efforts to work closely with the MARC. Gene's cooperation has been especially rewarding since this is my first markup as ranking member of the subcommittee. Overall, this is an excellent mark. It largely reflects the President's budget request for shipbuilding while addressing some industrial-based concerns by providing additional advanced procurement funding for two platforms, the LPD-27 and the Mobile Landing Platform, MLP. I agree with the direction the Chairman has provided on the electromagnetic launch system, which is critical to the on-time delivery of Gerald Ford CVN-78 aircraft carrier. The Chairman's mark will ensure the Navy keeps one person in charge of that system until it gets delivered to the carrier. That certainly is learning from past experiences. I appreciate that consistency of leadership. With respect to aviation, the mark generally preserves the Joint Strike Fighter program, but mitigates program risk by funding the F-136 competitive engine program. It also mitigates the risk to our nation posed by a significant gap in Navy strike fighters by authorizing another multi-year procurement for the only hot production line we have for these aircraft and providing sufficient long lead funding to enable the Navy execute such a contract. I believe this is a critically important step, especially as the Navy continues to find more areas of concern in the legacy fleet that may make it challenging to extend the service life of these aircraft. I also believe this committee should continue to take a look at the health of the military aviation industrial base. With respect to the Marine Corps, the MARC takes a balanced approach with regard to the Expeditionary Fighting Vehicle program. We allow the Marines to proceed with the EFV program of record fully funded. The Marine Corps really does need this platform in order to provide a higher performing, safer replacement to the decades-old AAV. At the same time, we insist that Marines look at engineering and force protection changes they could make to future spirals to keep pace with the threats we know that are out there. I continue to have some concerns about the LCS program and the changes being made to the cost cap of this mark. The program has made great strides, and I believe that eventually can be highly successful. I don't know if we're there yet. I want to support the program while making sure we're not sending a signal that we're easing up the pressure on industry and the Navy to control costs. Besides, in response to a question from Senator Levin about whether there is a realistic prospect that the Navy is going to be able to meet the goal of the cost cap, Secretary Mabus told the Senate Armed Services Committee last week there was a realistic prospect that we could drive toward that goal. He went on to say that he would let Congress know later this year whether he could keep within the cap. My instinct would be to allow the Navy to do further operational assessments on the first two before building more if they're going to cost the taxpayer any more than $460 million. After all, as one senior Navy official told me this week with respect to the LCS program, we need to get through the next year or two. We might be in a very different position than we are right now. Despite these concerns, I absolutely agree with the direction Chairman Taylor has taken to allow the Navy to develop a technical data package to compete these ships should they be unable to award them in the FY10 due to the cost cap. I know many members have been uneasy about the potential waiver to allow the Navy to retire the aircraft carrier enterprise. Although this issue will be handled in the full committee mark, I think it's safe to say that we sent a strong message to the Department that we want the risks associated with this plan reassessed before 2013 to make sure we aren't harming our national security. My last comment is a big picture concern. We should be building more ships and we should be investing more in the future of our Navy and Marine Corps, but the top line provided by the administration and frankly by the Congress is too low. While we are shoveling money out the door in so-called stimulus and all manner of bailouts, we are tightening our belts on defense. This makes no sense from either a job creation or a national security perspective. The chairman has done the best he could within the fiscal constraints that we have. Thank you to all of our members whose contributions helped to make this a strong product that it is. I urge my colleagues to support the mark, and once again, thank you, Chairman Taylor, particularly for your open-mindedness and willingness to work with us in a completely bipartisan way for the good of the red, white, and blue. We appreciate that.
Thank you.